Hey, a very, very good morning to you. Here's the one be after the Christmas period. It's all done, isn't it? All over and done with now. Hope you had a very nice Christmas. I'll tell you a little bit about mine later. I'd like to do some emails first, because there's a couple of fairly long ones, and I'd like to do this before we go into the new year, because, of course, the next show will be in 2011 after this one. Won't it? Eh? Will next year go as quickly as this one has done, I wonder? You know? It's true, it does get quicker as you get older. Absolutely true. Got to say a quick hello this morning to Millie, who's already sent in a message. Thank you, Millie. And yes, indeed I did. Got to say hello to Vida, who's just joined us on Skype this morning, a brand new Skype person. Good morning, Mr. Skype. I don't know, Vida. I don't know whereabouts you are. Where are you, Vida? And good morning to Anthony. Anthony, again, I'm not quite sure where you are. He's been on his... on the Skype to his, who is it? Someone in Australia. My brother in Australia. Whereabouts in Australia is he? He's not near the floods, is he? Cool. Dear me. A lot of flooding in Queensland. Now, I've been to Queensland a couple of times, and when it rains there, it pours. It absolutely pours. And once it starts raining, it seems to go on and on and on. I always remember being in a place near Cairns, actually, about 5 years ago, and suddenly they had this terrific downpour of rain. You don't know where it comes. It's like someone turned a tap on. All right, so good morning to Anthony. You're in the UK somewhere. He says it's 34 degrees where his brother is. It's Tony. Sorry, Tony. Tony, whereabouts are you, Tony? I can't remember. You're in the UK somewhere, aren't you? All right, so we'll do some of these emails first. Very good morning to you. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk here on United Kingdom Radio. Oh, by the way, those of you that download my non-stop DJ mixes will have noticed there wasn't a new one last week. No, there wasn't a new one last week. There will be a new one this week, hopefully, on Saturday. The old one is still up there from the week before Christmas. If you want to... I'm sorry, I'm dribbling a bit today. I'm dribbling. I've got a little ulcer on the side of my tongue. I was out at my mate's house on Tuesday, Ron, in London, who's better now, incidentally, but I'll come on to that later. And I sneezed, and I bit the side of my tongue. Have you ever done that? Oh, okay, and let me just feel it. Actually, I can't. I got my finger in my mouth. No, I've actually got, I thought it was an ulcer. I think it's got, I can't feel anything now, I'm at, oh yeah, I've got a little ulcer underneath my tongue where I sneezed hard on Tuesday at some point and accidentally bit it. Have you ever done that? Oh, yeah, and it hurts for ages, doesn't it? So I keep salivering. Is that the word? Salivering? Slivering? Salivering? Oh, we know a lot of people that sliver, otherwise known as snakes, ladies and gentlemen. We know a lot of snakes, don't we? How many snakes are there in your life, I wonder? Ah, Anthony's back. There he is. Oh, his brother's in Canberra. Oh, you're nowhere near the water there. Just that great big lake. There's this big lake in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. And it's huge. And a few years ago I was there, and I decided to go jogging. That was the point in my life where I did jogging. Don't do it anymore. I think we all go through that, because it does your knees in, unfortunately, and I started getting bad knees, so I had to give it up. But I was doing jogging a few years ago, and I started jogging around this lake. Now, you can't actually see all this lake in Canberra. And I just assumed at some point there would be a bridge over it to go back the other way. And there wasn't. And I jogged on and on and on, looking for this bridge. In the end, I turned around and come back the other way. I was out for hours, dear. There was nothing left of me. Panting and huffing I was. There you are. Tony is in Beckenham, in Kent. Nice part of the world, dear. Beckenham in Kent, South East London. Do you call it South East London? I thought it was Kent. You're not one of these people who actually lives outside London, but pretends to live inside London because you're very close to it, are you? I'm sure Beckenham's in Kent. Are you lying to me? Isn't Beckenham in Kent? South East London? Eh? Is that near Bermondsey? There's someone I like who lives in Bermondsey, yes. I don't think he's got the hint yet. I keep trying, but there we are. Thank you, Tony. I'm glad to see it's nice and warming up for your brother in Australia. I shall be there in a couple of weeks' time. 11th of January is when I leave this city. I shall be going over to Sydney and then crossing over to Norfolk Island for a couple of weeks. My best mate Ron, is moving in here while I'm away to do decorating. Well, he's not actually doing decorating. Oh dear, can't get him to lift the paintbrush. He will be supervising. Supervisor, can I help you? Yes, supervising. Good morning to Ben. Ben, who fills in at my karaoke nights and did a very successful karaoke night for me on Monday, didn't you? At the Hammersmith Belushes. Yes. He says, morning, Chris, I salivate. That's it, salivate. Well, my mouth this morning is salivating due to the very small ulcer on the side, which I can barely feel. But you kind of know it's there if you think about it. Have you had one of those recently? Oh, they're so annoying. They're so annoying. Gotta say, good morning to Debbie and Kirsty as well. Good morning, Debbie and Kirsty. Pretending to live in London when they're actually in Kent. I'm sure you're in Kent. Hang on, he's just writing back now. Ben knows about everything. Ben knows everything about everything. Ben, where is Beckenham? Is he lying to me? Is it in Kent or London? Or are you going to tell me a bit of it's everywhere? Half of it's one end and half of it is the other. Which is it? Eh? Right then, emails. First of all, good morning to a regular viewer and correspondent. Oh, by the way, those non-stop music mixes, I never finished that. Thank you very much for downloading those. The old one is still up there. If you haven't got it yet, you can get that from chrisreardonshow.co.uk. They're 80 pence, okay? 80 pence. Don't be tight. Not even a pound. Try one of my 1 hour, 20-minute non-stop music mixes. You can get those from chrisreardonshow.co.uk. Usually a new one every week, although not this week, okay? chrisreardonshow.co.uk. There you go. Tony says it's a Kent postcode, but it's inside the M25, so it's London. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. See? You go by the postcode. You're not in London, you're in Kent. And Ben also says Beckenham is in Kent. You're a liar. Oh, dear. Just because you're inside the M25, you assume you're in London? What a liberty. You're not in London. You are in Kent. I'm not in London either. There's nothing wrong with not being in London. Come on. I mean, look, we've got grass and trees. Where my best mate lives in central, Columbia Road, he lives. Do you know, there's roads there. There's not a single blade of grass. It's awful. A lot of people, but no nature, you know. I mean, I don't suppose there's any birds around there or anything. Possibly not even ants or cockroaches. Eh? We like to see a little bit of life. Now, let me get on to this email. Good morning to Vicky, who has been downloading my mixes, who says, hi, Chris. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Hope Ron is feeling better and that he has had a speedy recovery. Sorry, I'm just reading these emails from my new iPhone 4, as purchased a couple of weeks ago. I just want an iPhone 4. Thank you very much. Getting on with this like a house. Oh, I love it now. There's so much you can do with it. Now, if you weren't with us on the last show, you won't know, but my best mate Ron ended up in hospital for a couple of days. He had a very, very nasty case of swine flu, of course, with complications, with apparently a bacterial infection on top of the swine flu. And he was very, very ill. Very, very ill indeed. And he very upset as well, actually. He was very upset and worried. However, 36 hours of intravenous antibiotics, and he was out again. Although a lot quieter than he usually is, which was actually quite nice. To be honest, Ron was actually quiet. Very, very unusual for that to happen. He was actually quiet than he usually is. So, very, very nice indeed. And he is out now and doing quite well. He's still got a nasty cough. I was actually round his house on and when I went in to see him, because they actually put him in isolation. Yeah? When I went into the room to see him, I had to have a mask on, and there were gloves, rubber gloves, and an apron as well. I have got some photos of that on my Facebook, if you want to have a little look at my wall there, and there's a photo of me with all these bits and pieces on. My Facebook username, is Chris Reardon UK. All right? Facebook username is Chris Reardon UK. Ben says, Beckenham is geographically in the London borough of Bromley, but Beckenham is a town located in, it's 8.4 miles southeast of Charing Cross and 1.75 miles west of Bromley town. There you are, Tony. Do try and find out where you live, dear. If it's not a London postcode, you're not in London, dear. He says the park is very nice. I'm not a keen fan on parks, actually. I like commons. Do you know what I mean? I don't like parks where all the grass has been cut and there's little neat bits of flowers, and I like everything to grow wild, because I am quite wild myself, as you know, Tony. I'm a wild child. Perhaps a little bit older than a child now, but I am indeed a wild child, like my nephews are. Wild children they are. We might have time to talk about them later, I don't know. So, yes, Ronnie is much better now. Thank you very much for asking, Vicky. Okay, another email here from... Let me just find this. I'm just scrolling down on my new iPhone 4, boys and girls. Gloria. Oh, it's Gloria. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Oh, yes, it's Gloria, the lovely Gloria, who says, hello, Chris. I'm sending you a link to Bryan Botkin. Now, you're probably wondering, who is Bryan Botkin? Let me tell you, he is a young boy. I think he's 9 years old, and he has a rather rare form of cancer. And he's been battling it all last year, having various treatments. Let me read the email first. She goes on to say, Bryan Botkin, the little boy with cancer, from Amy's, that's her daughter's school. Her daughter teaches at this school. This is in the USA. Thanks for your help. He received over 900 postcards over the last 8 months. Bryan was collecting postcards from other countries. Okay, and we did this thing on the show, and we asked people if they could possibly send in a postcard from wherever they are to this young lad, Bryan. And he was, doing, how boys are, we collect things, don't we? We do collect. Why is that? Why do us boys collect things? Stamps. Or when you're older, cars. Or in my case, well, I don't know, actually, what do I collect? I don't think I collect anything. Gadgets. I collect gadgets, don't I? I have a wonderful gadget that arrived as one of my Christmas presents from my lovely niece, Tracy. Would you like to hear it? Here it is. It's a Britain's Got Talent Get Off the Stage buzzer. I love it! And it's a black box with a red button on the top and a big cross on the front which lights up red when you push it. Wonderful little gadget, that. We love this. I love this. If anyone... probably won't happen now at my age, but if anyone comes up to me and tries to chat me up that I don't fancy, rather than say, no, I'm not interested, I just shove this thing in their face and go... It's good, isn't it? A Britain's Got Talent. You want one of these, don't you? A Britain's Got Talent buzzer. I love it. Yes. And when my sister done some wonderful cooking today. But if she starts moaning, straight in her face. Yeah, that's what you want, kids. This is what you want, kids. When your parents tell you to do something and you don't want to do it, you just shove this in your face and press the red button. Like that. That's from my niece, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Back to the email. Yes, he got 900 postcards over the past 8 months. So some of those were due to you, dear friend and loyal listener to United Kingdom Talk. So thank you very, very much over the last year for sending those to that boy, okay? He still has 4 more chemo treatments to get through, but he is doing very well. He is keeping up with his schoolwork through Skype, a teacher who visits his home, and there are many days that he is able to attend school with his classmates. I should think that's really important to him. You know? Continuing to go to school with his classmates and that. I think it's nothing worse than kind of being ill and being alone. I mean, I have that problem here, really, because there's no one else here. I said to you a couple of shows ago, there are a couple of people, there's about three or four people I can rely on, absolutely rely on, that if I'm ill and pick up the phone, they will come. But you don't like to, do you? Where I am here, there's no one really to pop round. And I do worry sometimes. You know, I mean, if you're in a relationship with someone, you're married or whatever, and you suddenly fall ill, then your other half's going to notice and do something about it. Well, when you're on your own, it's not as good as that, I'm afraid, you know. I could peg out in the next few minutes. You just don't know. Fortunately, you're there to do something about it. But once I've gone off, you don't know what happens to me at 12 o'clock. You don't know what I do after 12. I climb back into my coffin and put the screws back down until the next show. It's true. Anyway, back to this. Let's see. Thank you for your help in bringing sunny skies to a sick little boy. That's from your Florida friend, Gloria. So thank you for that, Gloria. We're all very glad to hear that this boy is doing very well. And it's to thank not me so much or any of us here on United Kingdom Radio for reading out the address, but you, dear friend and loyal listener to United Kingdom Talk. It's you that sent in those cards and brought a little smile to that boy's face. So thank you very much on behalf of him and indeed Gloria for doing that. Okay. Let's see. Good morning to... Sorry. It's Tony. Tony says, I've been watching your YouTube videos for over 3 years now. How do you put up with that, Tony? God's sake. You don't watch them back to back, do you? Dear me. He says, I'm the one up Leaf Hill. I know Leaf Hill. I used to go there as a young boy. Several times, Mum and Dad took me and my sister there for days out, Leaf Hill, just walking around. It's a lovely place, lovely place. And Tony collects torches and gadgets and loves technology. LED torches. Yes, I've got an LED torch. I was looking at those new LED light bulbs. You can get those now in replacement to the kind of mini fluorescent tubes that we've all got in our house now, but it's still quite expensive, those LED light bulbs, and it doesn't seem to be a 100-watt one yet. They're like £25 per light bulb, so quite expensive. Let's have a look. Oh, am I a bit loud today? Oh dear, has that been right since the beginning of the show? No one told me that, dear. I can see that now. Let's just turn myself down a bit. Is that better? Sorry. Dear me. What, have I been a bit loud all the way through? It took you 20 minutes to tell me that, Ben. You want me not to succeed, don't you? That's what it is. That's what it is. Good morning to Sean. Morning, Sean, who quickly sends this in. Writes, morning, Chris. Hope your mouth is better soon. Gargle with some salted warm water. It will help heal and numb it. And that's from Sean in Boreham Wood, Hertfordshire. Oh, it's posh there. Boreham Wood. Is that posh there? Boreham Wood? Is that near Hemel Hempstead, where my mate's got that pub? My mate's got a pub in Hemel Hempstead in Boxmoor called the Steam Coach. Nice place there. Nice place there. Apparently those LED bulbs are now available from Sainsbury's. $7.99 each. Oh, I'll have to have a look at those, Tony. Yes, I think we might need to move up. Do you know, I'm sure I spend more money every time new things come out for energy saving than I would do if I'd never replaced them in the first place. It's madness, really, isn't it? Alrighty, let me see. Got to say good morning to Craig Adams. Now, Craig, I don't understand. Craig. He always sends emails twice. I don't know, why do you do that, Craig? He sends his emails twice for some reason. He writes, hello there, Chris. Craig A here. Good morning, Craig A. Now, the other thing, Craig, is that... Is it the 30th today? Oh, it is the 30th. God. Craig A here. Hope you've had a good Christmas. Yes, thank you very much, Craig. I may or may not tell you about it on this show, because there's lots of emails to do. All right, we must do these first. Craig says, we've not celebrated Christmas this year because of that car crash a few weeks back. Yeah, they had a car crash, unfortunately. We've not been in the mood. Saying that, I have bought my mum and my grandma presents. Ooh. Yeah, but what did you buy? Oh, you haven't told the whole story there, Craig. What did you buy your grandma and mum? We are still unhappy, and looks like the guy who's done the damage to the car is getting away free. He was in the wrong. I and my family want him charged with either dangerous or careless driving and for causing injuries to my mum. Did she have whiplash? I think you said she had whiplash. We're currently writing a complaint letter to the police saying that we are not happy with the outcome. We did have a few drinks on Boxing Day at my uncle's. Boxing night, where we all went to our local working men's club to play bingo. And I won a full house of £30. Oh, I like bingo, dear. I used to do a bingo night. And I had a table full of prizes. Oh, it was all great fun. I really enjoyed doing that bingo, but it was blooming hard work. Because, you know, it was a constant job, that was. All week long, you're sourcing prizes or printing out bingo tickets. And the setup to do it took quite long as well. I mean, I would arrive a couple of hours before at a venue in my car, unload all the prizes, this, that and the other, set them all up on a big stage. I didn't really get any help from anyone. Sometimes some of the customers occasionally helped you upstairs and things like that with all the gear. But it was actually a lot of effort for very little payback sort of thing. Although, you know, it's not about the money. It never is. It's the jobs I do, the karaoke, the DJ and the bingo, it's never ever been about making money, a lot of money. But in the same breath, you know, you expect to kind of make what you should for that night. Do you know what I mean? So I gave that up in the end. It was too much hard work. I'd love to do it again. The whole bingo thing, I used to walk around with a microphone, push a little button and the number would change. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Craig says, oh, Doctor Who Christmas special on Christmas Day was very good, especially with the beautiful singer Catherine Jenkins in it. Now, you know what? I watched that. I've got to say, on Christmas Day I tried to watch it. With my sister and our family, and half an hour into the show I gave up. I just couldn't follow it. And I found this with quite a lot of the Doctor Who's last year, written by the new writer, to the programme, Stephen Moffat. And I don't know what it is, but I found quite a few of them very difficult to follow. Okay, it was, in my opinion, on Christmas Day, I decided that this writer is certainly not as good as the last one. However, I have to tell you, I watched Doctor Who again yesterday. I thought, I'm going to give this one a second chance. And I gave it my full attention. And then I understood most, not all, but most of all what was going on. Okay? And I've come to the conclusion that this Stephen Moffat is not actually a bad writer. But what he writes, if you're going to watch his stuff, you have to give it your full attention for the whole programme. You can't sit there doing 2 or 3 things at once, as I always do. You know, I'll have the telly on in one corner, a laptop up in front of me, and also a mobile phone next to me, and maybe some book of some sort, you know, an instruction book or a couple of emails next to me. And I'll try and do all these things at the same time. But if you're going to watch a show written by Stephen Moffat, you have to give it your full attention. The writing is actually pretty brilliant, I have to say now. Now that I've watched it twice, okay? And I rarely watch a programme twice, but I did watch it twice, and on the second time, I kind of understood what was going on. It'd be interesting when the new series starts, of course, in the new year. Again, written by Stephen there. I will give each programme full attention, and it'd be interesting to see if you can actually just watch it once, or whether you have to watch it twice to understand what's going on. I found it very, very difficult to understand what was going on Christmas Day. I gave up halfway through and went to bed, seriously, and I have never ever done that with a Doctor Who before. But he's quite an intelligent writer, and if you're going to understand what's going on in the programme, you can't do anything else while you're doing it. And there's none of this, I'll just pop out to get a bag of crisps or a cup of tea, come back in again, because you'll have missed a bit and then you'll completely lose where you are. You've got to sit there and give it your full attention for the whole show. So I kind of agree with you and I disagree there, Craig. Catherine Jenkins, of course, did sing it. Oh, wonderful singer. She's a wonderful singer, isn't she? Craig says, my grandma, Joan. That's a good name for a grandma, isn't it? There's certain names that are good, that are sound really good as a nan or an auntie. Like Bridget. Nanny Bridget, that was my mum's name. Bridget. Or Reenie. Auntie Reenie. That's a good one. I've got an Auntie Reenie. I've got an Auntie Brenda as well. They're not sort of young names, are they? Brenda, Reenie. Anyone got any other aunt or nan names, please? My grandma Joan, who lives in Coventry, has got to go to hospital in a few weeks' time for the operation on her. She's got a swollen leg with an ulcer. Nasty. Blood flow isn't getting down to her leg, so I hope that it goes all right for her. I want to wish all the presenters and listeners on United Kingdom Radio a very happy new year and all the best for 2011, including you, Chris. So thank you very much for that, Craig. Always nice to hear from you, Craig. Craig, you still try and do the instant message thing with her. I really don't use the instant message thing on Facebook. It just gets in the way. You're trying to do something and messages come up. I don't use it. I often see your message, and by the time I've got to it, you've gone offline. So please don't use the instant message thing. If you ever send me an email or a little Facebook message, I will always reply to that. Okay, Craig? Okie doke. Okay, let's have a look there. Oh, Ben's found a 60-watt LED bulb, £37.01. Yes, I thought that, yeah, they are quite expensive, those LED bulbs at the moment, and I haven't seen a 100-watt one yet. Let's see. Okie doke. Right, a new person joins us, boys and girls. Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna send a little message. I'm just sending him. I'll tell you who it is in a minute. There we are. I've become very friendly with the parish secretary of the church that I play the organ in. Now, where's my pen gone? That's lost. Is that one there? I've become very friendly with the parish secretary of the church. Her name's Jean. And she doesn't know I do these shows yet. I've kept quite quiet about this, so I've just sent her an email because she's just sent me one to... she might be with us now, actually. She's a wonderful woman. Wonderful parish secretary of the church. I went up there to attach a couple of speakers to the organ. I don't know if I told you this, Ben, but we got an organ in the church. It wasn't very loud because they took the external speakers down. Well, I have now attached 2 of the external speakers back to the organ, and the difference it's made is amazing. It really is. Perhaps Jean will be joining us this afternoon. There is an email address if you want to join in at any time. I've just found a Christmas card here that I haven't opened. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. .uk. Oh, it's from my sister. It's from my sister. Fancy me not opening this. She sent me a lovely Christmas card. There's some lovely things people have sent me. Kath, who's in Wales, sent me a couple of lovely tea towels that I didn't open before Christmas. One of them has got a picture of sheep on it, because she's from Wales, you see. She's got picture of sheep, and holly all around it, and snow. And it says at the bottom, hang on, let me get this. It says at the bottom, wishing you, as in EWE, that's another word for sheep, I think. Wishing you a happy Christmas. Christmas. Do you get it? Because that's the noise the sheep make. Oh, get with it, for God's sake. I'm not going to explain it all to you. And she also sent me another tea towel. Tale of Two Continents. Continents. And it's got a monkey on it. And it's the PG Tips monkeys. Whatever happened to the PG Tips monkeys, eh? Well, they do make the best tea, don't they? PG Tips. We like a couple of PG Tips. Right. Where are we going now? Righty-co. A new listener to the show in Australia. Hello to Steve. Hello, Steve. Who says, hi, Chris. Looks like you got another newbie viewer. My name is Stephen. Oh, yes. Yes, and you've just joined us on the Facebook as well, haven't you, Stephen? Sending a photograph of himself. I have to say, Stephen, I'm just looking at your Facebook photos actually in front of me. That doesn't look like the photo that you sent me on the email. So my question is, you're not one of these naughty people using an old photograph on your Facebook, are you? Eh? I bet you are, aren't you? The amount of people that do that, honestly. All these photos are like completely different people. There's about 10 photos of you on Facebook. Let's have a look at his photos. Just a minute, Stephen. Photo. Oh, my album. Is it my album? No, we want profile. Oh, is that your children there? Okay. Where's your profile? Is it my album? Is that what I want to look at? There we are. What you do? You look like you're outside at a bar. Are you? What is that you've got in front of you? You're wearing a pair of shorts and a stripy shirt, and it looks like you're. Are you making something? They're like plate things that you put plates on. What are they called? Placeholders? Something like that. You look like you're making those out of beads or something, are you? Oh my God, look at all the... Oh, I can't look anymore. The place is full of gin and whiskey and all that. Oh man, we've got another drunkard watching the show, boys and girls. It's shocking. The place is full of junkies and drunkards. That's what we are. Anyway, Stephen says, don't panic. He gives his surname. I usually don't read surnames out. I don't know why. I've got something about reading people's surnames out. Yeah, I'd hate to think that someone stole your identity through watching this show. Anyway, shall I read? I won't read it out, no. Stephen says, I emigrated from Hastings. Oh, got a wonderful lift there, haven't they? I remember as a child we went to Hastings. I spent most of the day going up and down in that lift. Is it still there? Lift that goes up and down the side of the mountain, doesn't it? Or hill. It's hardly a mountain, is it? Would you class it as a mountain or a hill? That thing in Hastings. Anyway, he emigrated from Hastings to live in Brisbane, Australia in 1972. I was 15 at the time and moved down here with my family, arms and legs kicking. Yeah, that's a pretty difficult time to move, isn't it? Sort of 13 to sort of 20. That must be a difficult time in someone's life to move. He said, I didn't want to come to Australia at the time, but hey, what you going to do? I was still going to the Grove School in Hastings at the time and hated the thought of leaving my schoolmates. Yes, that must have been a bit of a pull for you there. I was married for 8 years, but have now been divorced for a long time. Oh, me too. I was married in 1983. We split up in 1983, and I think I've been divorced since 85. So it's 95, 05. It's 25 years I've been divorced now. I was still going. Oh yes, I've missed that. Have been divorced for a long time. I have 3 children, which I brought up as a single parent. Well, congratulations to you. I mean, it's hard enough for a lady to do that, I would have thought. But for a man to bring up 3 children as a single parent, well, top marks. Top marks to you, sir. Wow. Ever since my youngest was about 2 and still in nappies. They are all grown up now, and my oldest is 30. I am now 53. Oh, you're older than me. I'm glad to say that. You see, boys and girls, there are people on this planet that are older than me. Not many, but there are 1 or 2. I was listening to the radio last night on the way home, and they reckon here in the UK, 1 in 5 of us is going to get to 100 years old. 100! Can you imagine yourself at 100? I intend to continue still being sitting here and talking. I think by the time I retire perhaps from my paying job, or my paying jobs, because I've got, I do a few different places. I do DJing and karaoke for my work. A wonderful karaoke night last night. I do 2 karaoke nights. I think I prefer doing karaoke now than DJing, to be honest. But I do 2 karaoke nights, both at Belushi's, one at the Hammersmith branch. That's on Monday nights, 9 till 1 o'clock. And the other one at Borough High Street, near London Bridge. And that's on Wednesday nights. Quite a young crowd in both of the venues. The one on Monday night, I would say the crowd is slightly older on Monday night. But still a lot of young people there. And it's just a scream. An absolute scream. I love doing these karaoke nights. So, I mean, when we talk about retiring, I don't really do a job that I'm looking forward to retirement. I suppose the time will come. I don't know, actually. I did think to myself, they won't kind of want you to do it when you're a bit older. That is certainly true, I think, of certain venues. I think it's got to be said, that I found certain venues, as you get older, they're not as, what would you say? Not as, I don't know what the word is now. But certainly certainly the straight venues, it doesn't seem to matter how old you are, how much weight you've put on or how much hair you've lost. That doesn't matter. You're accepted as whatever you are. You go in and do your job and all is great. But in the gay venues, it's very, very picky. People always say, oh, aren't you losing your hair? Oh, haven't you put on weight? Oh, how old are you now? And that's all it is all night long. And I always knew, because I work in both gay and straight places, I started off, when I first started DJing, 18 years old, it was all straight places, okay? Got to about 21, much later than that. I got to about 26 or 27, and then I started doing gay places and then exclusively done those. And then around about 5 or 6 years ago, started going back to the straight places. And I always knew at some point the whole thing would turn right the way around and I would go back to just doing straight places. And that is happening at the moment. I'm now doing 3 gay nights and 3 straight nights. And gradually it's changed over. It's changing back over. Don't know when it will completely change over, but I'm pretty certain it will do. Just the way it is. But there's one thing I hate. I'm actually, I would even class myself being gay, okay? I would even actually class myself as being slightly homophobic. Now, how mad is that? Isn't that the weirdest thing? Do you think? Certainly, doing the straight venues, they're much more accepting of whoever you are, whatever you look like, whatever you do, however old you are. Doesn't matter. Not once does anyone mention any of those things. Hair loss, weight put on, or age. Never happens. I can guarantee, in gay places, I do 3 nights a week, on at least 2 occasions each week, someone will mention one of those things. And it's like a blooming knife going in you sometimes. It really is. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean, those of you who are over a certain age. I mean, Ben, for example, who does the karaoke, is practically 1 foot in the grave. So interesting that you say that. Going back to Steve's, I don't know how we got onto that. Going back to Steve's email here, 3 children. The oldest is now 30, okay? I'm now 53 and I've not been in a relationship for over 17 years. Does that make me a virgin again? Of course it does. Of course it does. I think, Steve, you can now go and advertise yourself as a virgin, as indeed I am doing as well. I haven't been in a relationship for about 5 years now. The offers the offers do not come. No one comes and chats me up. That's the other thing I was trying to say to you. Yeah, no one comes and chats me up anymore in a gay club. Now the strange thing is, the lads in the straight clubs will always come and talk to you, and they talk and they talk and they talk about whatever. I always find someone to talk to. In a gay club, okay, once you're a little bit older, they don't come and talk to you. Not even just for a conversation. You see what I mean? It would be quite nice for some people to come up and have a chat, but they don't. What's all that about? Don't get it. Straight club, always someone there to talk to. They damn well know I'm not chatting them up, okay? And they're not chatting me up. But it's just nice to have someone to talk to. Gay club, they don't come and talk to you once you've gone over that certain age. And don't anyone write in now and say that, you know, that's not true. It is true because I'm experiencing it and have done for a few years. That's the way it is. I'm not asking you to feel sorry or anything. You know, I'm just telling you how it is. And I think that's why. I think that's the main reason why it's kind of changing around for me. And I'm going back to doing the straight bars and clubs and having a whale of a time. Having an absolute whale of a time doing them. Stephen says, is it Steve or Stephen? It's Steve, isn't it? I beg your pardon. He says, anyhow, I will not keep you much longer, but I would like to wish you, your family and friends, all the best for this Christmas and a very, very happy new year. I've just finished watching your last 100 shows. My God, how do you manage that then? You don't watch them back to back, do you, for God's sake? Eh? How can you sit there and watch 100 hours of me chatting about rubbish? I would like to congratulate you on a very entertaining and thought-provoking show. Yes, I do try and provoke thought now and again, so that people send in emails about whatever we're talking about. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. He says, I'm looking forward to more of your shows. I like, and there's a little bit more there. I don't read out the bits that say really nice things. I get a bit mad. I know it's hard to believe, but I get a bit embarrassed reading really nice bits out sometimes. So I keep those to myself. I hope that's all right. So thank you very much to Steve in Brisbane. I was in Brisbane last year, only for a day. 1 night and 2 days. My friend was, he used to work actually in the Belushes in Hammersmith. And he met a girl there a couple of years ago. And he moved out to Brisbane with her. Unfortunately, recently, it all split up for whatever reasons. And he's now moved to Sydney. And I'm hoping very much to see him when I go to Sydney. And I'll be there on the... I think I'm there on the 13th. I'll tell you in a minute. I need to get the dates right because my mate's moving in here. Hang on, British Airways. Where's my ticket? Let's have a look here. British Airways. Is that it? Here we are. Gets into Sydney. I arrive in Sydney on the 13th of January, 6:10 in the morning. Oh, dear me. Mind you, that's quite a nice time because you get one of the minibuses outside and it takes you to the hotel. And I go back on the 2nd of February. That's a bit better, 4:30 in the afternoon. But for 2 weeks of that, I'm actually flying across to Norfolk Island, as I say. So I'm only in Sydney for a couple of days at the beginning and a couple of days at the end. Okay. Let's have a look here. Ben says, I'm 50 next Friday. 50? Oh, come on, Ben, and the rest. I thought you was about 52 or 53, aren't you? Are you only 50? Oh, I do apologise, Ben. He says, Ben says the gay clubs are ageist. They absolutely are. Gay clubs are very ageist. They really are. He said, and sometimes, as like the entertainer for the night, you kind of try and go around and talk to people. And you get the most awful glares, or they just don't respond. They sit there like lemons, assuming that you're trying to chat them up. Doesn't matter how pig ugly some of these youngsters are, they assume just because you've said hello that you're trying to pick them up. It's true. It's absolutely true. That's why I now prefer working in straight places, I think. There are some good nights. I mean, I do enjoy working with cabaret, pushing the buttons, bringing cabaret on stage, and I do it to the best of my ability. Doesn't matter, what sort of mood I'm in or whatever. I'll always try and, do that to my best ability. Ben says, I'm not that much older than you, dear. Yes, you are. 3 years. I mean, that's an eternity, Ben. It really is. He says, doesn't Sammy at the Black Cap chat you up? No, he doesn't. But he does talk to me, and I talk to him. I do talk, yes. He says, I've got Alison and George coming to see me tonight at the Carpenter's Arms for my karaoke night, and we'll be seeing Demon a bit later. Oh, do be careful. He'll probably try and chat you up. Demon's at that age where he chats everyone up at the moment, even with that nice other half of his. Eh? Tony, is 44 and father of 7. Blimey, he's got 7, and that must cost you a fortune at Christmas. Eh? I bet you spent an arm and an egg at Christmas, isn't it? He finds it very funny that I'm a bit of a gay homophobe. It's true. It's true. Good morning to Richard, who says it takes 7 seconds for food to pass from mouth to stomach. A human hair can hold 3 kilograms. Did you know that? Go on, try it yourself. Pluck out one of your hairs, okay? Stick it to a bag of sugar and see if you can pick up the sugar with that hair. Don't blame me, blame Richard if it goes falling all over the floor. He says the length of a... Oh, I'm not reading the rest of that. That's very rude, Richard. Do not... Do not send things like that to me. Stephen is the son of the email writer. He's my dad. Oh, is that right? Oh, blimey. Everyone's here today. Everyone's here today. Now, where's Richard? There he is. Richard said, my sincere apologies for being so late. I was defrosting the freezer. You're not trying to do it with a hairdryer, are you? You mustn't do that. You really, really mustn't do that with a hairdryer, okay? Just let it do itself naturally. He says, and having been with you while you're watching TV, you can never watch TV and concentrate. You have the attention span of a goldfish. You'd like me that. Well, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You'd like to see me in a little bowl going round and round and opening my mouth like that. Do they make noise when they open their mouths like this? Little goldfish, feeding them in the top there. Eh? Do they do that? Don't know. Let me see. Now, we've got a long email here from Fag Ash Lil, who's not with us this morning. I don't know where Fag Ash Lil is. By the way, I don't know if Lee is with us. Lee, if you're with us this morning, can you let us know if you're doing your show today at 12 o'clock? Sean says, a couple of emails here from Sean. Sean says, I'm afraid, because Sean wrote in earlier and suggested I gargle with salt water. Well, it's on my tongue. It's right on the side of my tongue. It's very, very small as well. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can feel it again. I got it. I think right on the bottom of the... And it's a tiny little ulcer that I did when I bit my tongue the other day. And Sean wrote in and suggested the salt water. He lives in Boreham Wood, which I thought was a posh area. But he says, Chris, I'm afraid Boreham Wood isn't very posh, but is surrounded by lots of greenery and wild paths. But EastEnders is filmed at the Elstree Studios, which is part of Boreham Wood. I didn't know that. Boreham Wood. Where is it? I thought Elstree. Oh, sorry. Elstree is Boreham Wood, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it were two separate places. I got unclassified for geography, by the way, boys and girls. Not very good at all. I don't know why, Sean, but your emails have come into my junk folder. So let me just junk email, add sender to safe senders list. There we are. So that should go in the normal email. Can you send us another email now, Sean, so I can check you're going in the normal email box? He says, don't worry, Chris, about what the bitter ones say, those bitter young things. They say, you're still as cute as you were when I met you all those years ago in 1997. God, that seems like an eternity now, doesn't it? I don't think you have changed a great deal. Oh, I'm sure I have, Sean. There's some bags under the eyes. Actually, do you know, can I let you into a secret? Now, don't tell people this. But before I did the show today, because of course you can watch, those of you that listen to the show, if you've ever got time to watch as well, you can do that. The main website for this particular show is unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. That's where you'll find all the recordings and all that there, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And you can watch as well as listen, okay? And before you joined us today, I was at the camera because there's actually a little screen in front of me as well, and I was kind of pulling at the side of my face. You know where the lines are underneath your eyes? I was kind of pulling there and trying to work out if a little bit of Botox perhaps would make a difference. But then I remember people like, oh, who's that bloke? David Guest. David Guest, and I hate to say this, Barry Manilow. I saw Barry Manilow on the telly the other day. What a wonderfully talented man he is. And I'm going to see him at the O2 Arena in... when is it now? I forgot when it is now. May, that's it. I'm going to see him in May at the O2 Arena. But I saw him on the telly the other day. My God, how much facial work has he had done? He don't look real, does he? His skin's all pulled back, and I wish he'd eat something, dear. He looks as thin as a rake, dear. For God's sake, will someone take Barry Manilow out to a fish and chip shop, please? Sausage, egg and chips. That's what he needs. And I look at that and I think, oh, I don't really want to look like that. David Guest is another one, isn't he? How much facial work has he had done? Can someone tell me, what does David Guest do? How has he managed to get... I don't care if is he just the husband of someone and that's it? How has he managed to get on these TV shows? Why can't I get on there? Can I have my own chat show? I'd do so much better than Jonathan Ross, I think, and there'd be no swearing. Absolutely no swearing at all. Eh? There we go. Sean, that's it, Sean, you're sorted now. You're on the normal email list now. Sean is a newbie. Have you got a Facebook, Sean? Send us your Facebook. My Facebook is Chris Reardon UK, all right? And I'll send you a little email there. Chris Reardon UK. Now, Boreham Wood is just 5 minutes from where Richard in London lives. Is that right? Or you can go down there and see you must see all the cast of EastEnders going to and fro, do you? I have to say, I won't read... Fag Ashley, I'm not going to read out your email today because we've only got a couple of minutes and it won't go in all its entirety, all right? Debbie, who's with Tony, says, poor Chris, she knows how that feels. What people saying that we look old and that we put on weight and that we're losing hair. Oh, you're not losing hair, are you, my love? Why is it ladies don't lose hair, do they? Ladies don't lose hair. Talking of losing hair. Right, now, a lady who, her hair's a bit thinner, but it's not that... It's not that... I don't know if I should tell you this or not now, actually. Okay, yeah. My sister's mother-in-law has recently purchased a wig. And it has... Stop it. No, stop it. I think she's in her 70s. I think she's into her 70s. She's just purchased a wig. And I've got to say, she now looks completely and totally different. She absolutely does. When she put it on, I had trouble recognising her at first. And I don't know why she's bought this wig. It makes her feel better. And you know what? Sometimes with all this Botox and all this, that and the other, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if it makes the person feel better, is it worth doing? You know what I mean? You probably know people that have had something done to their face and then, oh, do you like my new face? There's one particular person, actually, used to come to my karaoke night and spent a fortune having the face done. And they came one night and said, what do you think? And it doesn't look any different. And it didn't look any different. Thousands of pounds. It's like girls, before they go out, girls, come on, chaps. You know your girlfriends and your wives. Before they go out, 2 hours in the bedroom, they go up there. They spend 2 hours putting on all this makeup and all that business. Oh, hang on a minute. I've done something wrong here. Oh, well. They spend 2 hours putting on all this makeup and stuff. They come back down the stairs and they look exactly the same. Have you ever found that? Okay, perhaps the lips are a little bit more red, but apart from that, roughly they do look the same. Isn't that strange? So anyway, my sister's mother-in-law has bought a wig and she sat there at Christmas dinner with this wig on. Actually, it didn't look too bad at all, but I couldn't understand why she'd bought it. She looked all right in the first place. But if it gives you a bit more confidence, I suppose so. So tonight, I've decided, after the show, I'm going to go and buy myself a girdle. So it will suck in my stomach and my sides, and that'll make me feel better. Hey? Time for me to go, boys and girls. I'll be back with you live on unitedkingdomradio.co.uk on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock UK time, all right? The email address of the show, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you Saturday at 3. Bye-bye now.